Hi, good morning, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla, and today I wanted to show you an everyday eyeshadow combination. The reason I call it an everyday eyeshadow combination is because it can go with any lip color and is something that you can wear every day. As a working woman, we know that we don't always have as much time as we would like in the morning. However, if an eyeshadow is something that you choose to do, is something that can still bring your look together, make everything a little bit more cohesive. However, doing the same eyeshadow every day and maybe changing your lip color can change your whole appearance. And so I just wanted to show you one everyday eyeshadow combination that can help you upgrade your look. Some people like to use a concealer on their eyes before they apply their eyeshadow. I like to use an eyeshadow primer. So this is the Milani eyeshadow primer. However, I do need to cut the top off because it appears to be a little stuck or a little jammed. It's not coming out. We're going to use this Black Radiance. This is the True Complexion HD Corrector. I am actually using this shade because, once again, this is just kind of like a very natural look. We're not going for a night out. We're not going for glam. So I just want to use something that's going to blend everything together and make it a more cohesive look. I do have a lighter shade that I would use, you know, maybe if I were going out or something of that nature. Let me show you the difference between the two. So this is the lighter shade, and then this is going to be the darker shade. Okay, and I think that's enough for me. Once again, we're going very natural here, and I don't want to have it caked up. But it does provide an even foundation for my eyes. Because a lot of times eyeshadow is not going to show up well if it's just on your skin. So there has to be some sort of primer on your eyes so that it can capture the true color of the eyeshadow. I have to put a little more. And y'all, there's already liner on my eye because, as you know, when I come home, I recreate those looks. When I leave, that's my me time. So I would much rather not. You can also use a brush to pat. I try to be light because you know the skin on and around the eyes is most sensitive, and so you don't want to like do too much there. But I'm just gonna cover this eyeliner that I had on there. We're gonna put it back on there, so do not be alarmed. So you might be able to still see it, and that's okay. So let's come over here to this one. I notice with a primer, my eyeshadow does stay on longer with a primer than it does with a concealer. But once again, we're just going to work. And as a beginner, when you're first starting to do makeup, do your makeup or do certain things, you're going to know what works best for you. And so just like I prefer an eyeshadow primer, it's okay if I don't have one. It's okay if my tube is broken. Those things are okay. And so just have grace, be patient with yourself, figure out what you like based off of what you feel like you need, and then just go for it. And then the more you do it, you'll be able to make adjustments. Okay, so I am going to use this precision brush, and I like to use this precision brush because I don't know if you can see it, but if I close my eye, this is where I'm going to put my darkest color right here, because this is the shape of my natural shadow. So I'm going to use this brush to follow this shape. So your shape might be different. I think it's important that you find your shape, but I'm going to use this brush because if you see, it's very precise here. This is the Milani Gilded Nude palette. We are going to use this bottom color right here, and it is called And Chill. I am going to take a little bit of setting spray and spritz it onto my brush. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just dipping it in here. And then I'm going to tap it. One of the things I like to do having acne prone skin is I like to make sure that my brushes are clean. I like to make sure that I'm using practices similar to what they would use at a makeup counter to ensure that, I'm not, putting dirt or bacteria on my skin or on my eye. So I'm going to just start by following that outline. It's a natural outline. Your eye should already have a natural outline. And we're just going to create that V right there. Now, how far you go is typically going to be up to you. This is a natural tutorial, so I even though it's natural, I still want it to be a little precise. So I'm just going to take it up into that crease right there. And so I'm just building that color, and then we're going to blend it out later. And now what you do to one side, you still want to do to the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm still gonna spritz it a little more with some finishing spray or setting spray. I'm gonna take it again. And we're just following the natural shadow. Everybody has a natural shadow. Where would your natural shadow fall? So some people like to put this color over the whole lid. I feel like if that's easiest, go for it. But I feel like not only is it a waste of product, but I also feel like the color or the shade that I'm about to put on top of it, I feel like it won't capture the true shade if I have this darker color underneath. And we are back in the Milani Gilded Nude palette, and we are going to use this color, this shade right here on the rest of our lid. The name of this shade is Do Not Disturb. So appropriate for work, right? All right, so this is just a flat eyeshadow brush. And once again, same technique. I'm just going to spray the brush. And so I like to make sure the brush is coated on both sides. I feel like it's just a better eyeshadow experience. Because if you run out of one side, you can always flip it over and do the other. And then we're just going to pat. I'm just going to put this right here. And we are just, see how I just flipped that over? I just flipped it on over. And then we are going to pat and build that color. Now remember, I already have eyeliner on from earlier today. And so that's what you see down there at the bottom. And it could be me, but I think that work should kind of be like more fresh face, you know? And we're going to do the same thing with the other eye. So I'm going to spray that again. Okay, so we're going to put, once again, we are using this shade right here. It's called Do Not Disturb, inside of the Milani Gilded Nude palette. And so we sprayed it with setting spray, so we're just going to coat both sides. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're just going to gently pat, gently, 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 gently down the stream, Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, how does that look? Last but not least, we are going to take this blending brush and we are going to blend the darker, the outer color with the inner color. And so, or with the lid color. And so we're just going to blend it by just taking this brush on the outer color and moving it in circular motions so that it can be a little bit more cohesive. We're just going to move it in place, so where it is, we're not taking the eyeshadow anywhere else because we've already done that, but we're just going to use little circular motions so that it's not so harsh. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. The most important thing to me, honestly, is that this little line right here is very sharp and very precise. It's okay. I want my makeup to look natural. This is a natural makeup look. Natural, not necessarily in color. Yes to that too, but natural in application. But what really is important to me is that this line right here is very precise. So there is the eyeshadow. And the last step, last but not least, I'm typically going to go for a black eyeshadow on the top of my lid. There are other colors I'm sure that look great and wonderful, but I like to save that for when I go out. This is just the e.l.f. Expert Liquid Eyeliner. Just really simple eyeliner. And then we're going to make sure there's not too much on there because it can get into your eye. And then as you see, we still have that line from earlier. I like to kind of start in the middle and then work my way out. And then I like to kind of come back in because if I put too much liquid on the inside, then it will run. And then we don't want it to do that. And so that's why I start in the middle and then I work my way out and then I come back. And that is sufficient for me. I typically wouldn't do a wing liner, once again for work. Simple everyday makeup. But hey, it depends on your job. It depends on what you do. I like to start in the middle. Small strokes. Now for me, I actually like to hit my lashes because that's how I know I'm as close to the lash line as possible, because I absolutely dislike filling in eyeliner gaps. And then we're going to come back over and gently, slightly stroke the inner corner. Just to make sure there's no excess liquid. And boom, there you have it. So this is just one option for everyday eyeshadow, which means that you can change your lip combination, you can change your blush, and it will typically complement this eyeshadow look because it complements your skin tone. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.